Hi everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are back from the holidays, back from our little break from doing our playing through our collection videos. We are ready to continue on with the M's.
But first,
we have to backtrack just a little bit, like 8 times.
The holiday pickups.
Yeah, our holiday pickups. A couple Christmas presents,
a
couple things we
we've
picked up.
we got 3 that were Christmas presents.
Yep.
2 that was picked up on a impromptu road trip.
Yep.
And 3 used ones. 2 of them from a Facebook meetup, Facebook marketplace thing, and 1 from Goodwill.
Yeah.
And that's the one we're going to start with.
Yeah. But first, before we get started, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content, and of course hit that bell icon if you want notification of future content.
And follow the link below and see all of our other social media.
Yeah. All right, now you can pull that one off.
Now we can go first with the Goodwill pickup for a whole $2. We found the Big Book of Madness, which we just played, and she already put the box on wrong.
Sorry. So this, like I said, we found this at Goodwill yesterday, actually. And it's an interesting game. This was a cooperative game. It plays 1 to 5 players, 2 to 5 players, where you are basically playing students at a magical university, magical school, think Harry Potter type thing. You are fighting monsters that are coming out to, well, you're fighting monsters with spells and different elements. Basically how it works.
That's the theme.
That's the theme. So here is your board. So your board depicts the
book,
the grimoire up here. You've got your madness cards that will end up, a lot of which end up in your deck. One of the losing conditions is to run out of these cards. I honestly thought when they told me that, when I read that this was one of the losing conditions to run out, I'm thinking, oh, there's 20 of them. There's no way we're each going to end up with 10 in our hands. Yeah, there is. We didn't do it, but we came close. I think at one point I must have had 6 in my deck at one point, easily.
Oh, I had a hand where I had 2 of them out and I had 3 of them in my hand.
Oh, goodness gracious, yeah.
That's why I kept putting them out and getting them rid of them that way.
You have to. All right, and then you have your round tracker and then different curses that the monsters are putting out. So this is your board. The grimoire is made up of a set of cards. You have 4 possibilities for your book cover, each of which have a different monster on the back. And then you have a total of 14 monsters in the middle of the grimoire, and you're choosing 5 for any one game, 1 for each round of the game, or 6, I guess. Well, 5, because your 6th monster is your cover. So you're choosing 5 of these, and then the end just tells you, hey, you won or you lost.
Yep.
That's your back cover. So you're setting up your grimoire with each different game. And then throughout the game, the monsters are putting, turn it right side up, curses out onto the board for you that you have to resolve with so many elements. If the turn order takes you to the spot where one of those curses is still there, you haven't resolved it yet, then bad things happen. That's not good. Your decks are just made up of element cards. And then you also have spell cards that you can use throughout. Each player, let me just have one of these. Each player starts out with 1 card, and it tells you what your starting hand is. So everybody's starting out with slightly different starting hands, which is nice. And then throughout the game, you're spending your element cards not only to take care of curses, but also to buy more element cards, to buy bigger element cards, to get these ones, to try to, I don't want to say weed out. Yes, you do eventually want to weed these out, but you get
to make stronger cards to be able to take out the
you're trying
curses
to
faster.
Water down the ones and infuse your deck with stronger cards. I think that's what I was trying to say. So it's an interesting game. I actually really enjoyed it. The first couple rounds were a little stressful.
First couple of rounds were very stressful because I'm like going, we're not going to get anything done because we couldn't get any
curses resolved.
Yeah, I think it wasn't until the 3rd round that we actually took a curse out.
Yeah. So, but I don't know if it's meant to be that way. You only have 3 curses the first 2 rounds. But yeah, neither one of us could get the cards we needed in our hand. So we literally spent the first 2 rounds just getting stronger cards. And then finally, by the 3rd round, we were able to start taking out the curses.
I think we still lost that 3rd round, though, but we was able to actually start taking things out.
But we were actually yeah. So, but that is the Big Book of Madness. Now, we did not talk about where this one's going to end up. I'm thinking, I mean, we paid $2 for it. I'm thinking it's going to end up in the travel collection. I do like it. I definitely want to explore it some more.
Yep.
But I think this is a great little easy co-op to go into the other room. So yeah, this one will end up in the travel collection, and but I suspect it will see more play on our table. I do like it. But that is the Big Book of Madness.
These next 2 were from a Facebook pickup. First one was Boss Monster. This is a, what is it? What do they call it? A 6 pixel or
8 pixel.
8 pixel artwork card game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an 80s style video game.
Yeah. I thought
Dungeon
this
crawler.
was cute. My brother and his wife own a lot of Boss Monster
They
and
have
taught
all
us
the
how to
stuff
play
for
it.
Boss
Yeah.
Monster.
So how this works is you start off with a hand of room cards and a couple of spell cards. And you start off with one boss monster. And at the start of the game, you get to put 1 room into your dungeon. And the idea is that your dungeon is trying to attract various adventurers to it.
To go into it, and you're trying to kill them all.
Yes. And if you can manage to kill the adventurer prior to him getting to your boss monster, then you get the soul. You get his soul.
10
So
souls
you
wins.
flip him over and you get the soul from him. If you don't, then he goes underneath your boss monster and he did damage to your boss monster. It shows damage done to each of them to your boss. And if you get 6 damage, you're out of the game. So it's kind of a player elimination. We never had that happen. There's ways to heal him. There's ways to do that. The key to this, though, is you're only allowed 5 rooms in your dungeon. You can upgrade your rooms. You can change out your rooms, but you cannot increase your rooms. Once you hit 5, that's it. And some of these rooms are kind of interesting. And each room attracts a different type of adventurer. Like this one will attract your fighters, and this one attracts your thieves, and there's ones that attract clerics and ones that attract druids, mages. I don't know. There's 4 different types of heroes.
Mages.
I think it's mages, yeah. So, like this one here is the Neanderthal cave. You cannot build an advanced room on a Neanderthal cave. So once you put this one out, you can't upgrade it. You can change it out by placing another adventurer cave on top of it, but you can't upgrade this one to a stronger cave. But there are some that you can, and like here's an upgraded one. The upgraded ones can only be put onto lower ones of the same type. So this one would have to go onto a mage one. Interesting little card game. I enjoyed my play of it. I lost horribly.
The game's fun to play.
Yeah. You didn't.
I had a heck of a dungeon at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then had to stall out because I never, ever got an upgradable room.
My problem was I started with 4 of them.
Yeah, I didn't
If
see
you
one.
start with 5, you can call a mulligan and draw a new hand. But you can't play those initially. Yeah. You have to have something to play them on top of, and that was my problem. Is I had too many of those and nothing else.
Yep.
So I thought
You
it was
hoarded
a
them
really
all?
fun. Yes.
And
Not intentionally. I thought it was a very fun card game. We are going to hold on to this one. It will sit in. We bought it specifically for the other collection, and that is where it will sit. I think it is. It's just a fun classic card game. Plays in like less than an hour. Oh, okay. Anyway, that is Boss Monster. It will.
No, you're upside down.
You're batting 1,000 here. Okay, it's right side up now. Got it?
I gotcha.
Got it. Okay, good. That is Boss Monster. It will stay. We are going to keep it. It is going to stay in the travel collection, though. But we know where it is if we want it, and if we want more, we know who has it. But yeah, that's that. All right. Next.
Next one was.
Oh my God.
Ice Cool.
The guy that we went to get stuff from for the trade, he wanted $5 for this. Okay, fine. And I thought, I've heard good things about this game. I know it's a dexterity game. You don't like dexterity games at all. I'm okay with them depending on what they are. This one never interested me because of the childish theme, but I thought this would be great for the other collection. So I went ahead and got it for $5. Why not? Well, it's missing a piece, but I was easily able to compensate for that piece. It was no big deal, but this was hysterical. We laughed so hard playing this game. So the idea is you have all of these rooms, and the bottom of the box is literally your 4 rooms, 5 rooms. You set the rooms up, and the rules tell you exactly how to set them up, and you hook them together with these white fish. So the white fish basically just hold 2 rooms together, like so that, if I can get that out of there, so that doorway, those doorways become accessible, essentially. And then there are spots where everybody puts their fish on the walls. So the way this plays, each round, one person is what they call the catcher. That person is essentially a hall monitor at the school where all of this is happening. And it is your job to catch the other players. Mm-hmm. And the other players are goof-offs, and they are running around trying to pick up their colored fish from different places in the thing. This is a flicking game. So you are flicking your little penguin across the board, and they slide, let me tell you. You're flicking your little penguin trying to get through the doors, and if you can make it through the door with your fish still on it, you can collect your fish. Each round ends when one player has collected all 3 of their fish, or the catcher has caught all 3 of all the other players. This was hysterical.
Y'all couldn't get the flicking down.
The spin down right? Oh my God. Who was it you that went through 3 doors in one flick?
I went through 3 doors on one flick, and then when I was the catcher, I took out 2 of you at once.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you did. You bounced off of one straight into another. Oh, it was hysterical.
Because y'all didn't know how to put the English on it.
Regardless, this was a lot of fun. This was way more fun than I thought it would be. We're going to hold on to this one in the travel collection. It's geared toward kids. I think the theme is geared toward kids, but I think
there's an Ice Cool 2, too. This is the original one.
I think there is. But, I think it deserves every one of these accolades it's gotten. It really does. I really enjoyed this one very much. But, that is Ice Cool. It will stay in our travel collection. This is one I think that has a great table presence. I could so see teenagers having a ball with this one. Mm-hmm. So this one may go to a couple of events next year. We'll see. But Ice Cool. All right.
So the next 2 are from our impromptu road trip to Maryland to take your mom up to her sister's in a snowstorm. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're recording this in about the middle of January. It's currently 4 degrees out. No, negative 4 degrees outside.
I don't know. Let's see.
We went to Maryland last weekend in the middle of the first storm of the season.
It is 1 degree.
It was. Hey, it came up.
Yes.
Yay.
It did. I was looking to see what the wind chill was.
Oh, yeah.
Because the wind is ungodly out there, too.
Yeah, it is.
Minus 16 with wind chill.
We're going to just hold up in the house for now. Yeah. And play more
games.
Okay.
And because of that, we're going to talk about endless winter.
It feels like it, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, this winter has barely started. It already feels like it's
So this is still a fairly new game. It came out last year, right? 2022. So
did it? Okay.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun.
It was a Kickstarter that we almost backed, I almost backed and didn't because Jessica and Mark was backing it.
Yeah.
And we figured, okay, well, we'll have a chance to play it with them. Well, we haven't been able to play with them.
We never did.
We found it. It was fairly.
We found a good price
It was decently marked. It was on sale.
Yeah.
Picked it up in Cleveland. Not Cleveland, Columbus.
I was going to say we didn't go through Cleveland. Columbus, yes. This is a really interesting game. I mean, for some reason, I always pictured this as, and maybe it's just the artwork, I always thought of Imperial Settlers when I looked at this box. It's nothing like Imperial Settlers.
I didn't think anything about Imperial Settlers. I just figured it was another
Shem
Phillip game because it's the same artist as a lot of his games.
So I don't know. My brain always went to Imperial Settlers when I saw the box. And so I was never really interested in it. I'm glad that we picked it up though, because I really like this one. All right, so this is your board. And the board is essentially worker placement spots. So you're placing your workers into one of these 4 spots to do various actions. The first person each round to go to one of these spots gets an extra bonus action at the bottom. Everybody else just gets the top 2. So there's 3 actions in each of these components. And there are...
That's
right,
the
this
turn
is
order.
this is turn order. You're right. I was going to say, wait a minute, what was this? That was turn order. There are stones up here that you can grab. You can only ever grab 3. You put some out at the very beginning of the game, and that's it. When they're gone, they don't refresh. So that gives a little bit of variability to every game because there are twice as many in the supply as you need. So you're always going to have a different supply of these stones on every game, and I like that. I love the way this box is set up, sort of. I mean, it could have been a little tighter, but it works. But they give you these great game trays that literally hold everything. That's all of the base game stuff, or all the game stuff, and then each player has their own little compartment. And I like it when games do that. Because when we get a game, we immediately separate out every player. This is what you need to start the game, period. And I like it when games have started doing that on their own. I like that. Anyway, so the game is all hexagon tiles, and you don't use all of them. You use only a certain amount per game, so again, more variability. But you're putting out all of these tiles to make your board. And throughout the game, you are trying to set up camps and basically it's a little bit of area control. You're moving your guys around on the board, and when you get one person on each end of an intersection,
right.
you can put one of your huts on the intersection, and you claim those sets of tiles. And whoever has the most presence on the tiles, and your people can still do it, your little tents can still be presents, they get the benefits of those tiles at the end of every round. Yep. And those benefits are pretty big.
So that part kind of reminded me of Catan.
Yeah, it does.
There's a Catan feel.
So I love the minis. The minis are great. It's a lot of card play. The tile movement. There's resource not resource.
This has another side to it that we didn't play on.
You're right. We didn't play that one. I didn't even look at that side. I wonder if that's solo. That might be the solo side.
It looks identical.
Oh, maybe it's just different artwork.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This side always reminded me. I don't remember what they were called though. In the Land of the Lost. I think it was the Land of the Lost from the 70s.
Oh my gosh.
There was these birds that came in and they wrapped their wings around you, and
I never watched that.
Yeah, it was weird. Somebody can remember that, I hope. Hopefully I'm not the old person here. But yeah, every time I see it, that's the first thing I think about is those creatures, whatever they were in that movie or that TV show.
I think I remember seeing commercials of it.
I want to say they were the Sarlaccs, but no, they weren't the Sarlaccs. They were some, and I don't even remember if I was the right show here, but I remember they put their wings around them, and I think that's the way they devoured them or something like that. I don't remember exactly what happened. I just remember them scaring me when I was a kid. And I'm like, oh no. But yeah, every time I say that, that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
I could see that.
Anyway, so that's Endless Winter.
Endless Winter. I really enjoyed this a lot more.
We are currently in the next Ice Age.
Feels like it. This is one that I think we are going to eventually do more of a deep dive on one of our podcasts.
Maybe a review on the channel.
Maybe.
The video.
So I don't know if it'll be soon, but we'll get there. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. I didn't expect to. So I don't know why I didn't expect to, but yeah, Endless Winter.
Okay, the next one we picked up was one we seen this at Gen Con, and we were wanting to play it. We never could get into a play with it. And I know Matt was really wanting to play it.
They had one board out in the CEG room, and that was it. And it was booked.
And it was a ticketed event.
Yeah, it was a ticketed event, and it was booked up solid.
But I've been looking for it since, and this is Kutna Hora.
Yeah. We got to play one play of this. That's all we've gotten in so far. So first impressions, love it. I definitely want to dig into this more. This is definitely
want to buy the metal coins.
Yeah, we're going to get the metal coins. I kind of wish I'd just splurged and done it, but...
And maybe an insert for it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the next buy on this one is going to be an insert, because this one was hard to put in the box.
Yeah.
because of these. Okay, so the idea with this game is it is based on a real city from the Middle Ages that became popular due to the silver mines in the area, hence the City of Silver. The game is played, there is a puzzle piece board that goes in the middle of the table, and it's down at the very bottom down here. Yeah, I'll just show a picture. And it's actually double-sided for player count.
Yeah, the city's bigger on one side.
Yes. So for a 3 and 4 player game, you're going to have a little more spaces open versus the 2 player game where you've got fewer spaces to build on. It keeps it a little bit tighter. So the way this works is that you are purchasing tiles from a central display. The tiles are set up in a series of rows that cost depending on how far down the row it is. But as soon as you buy a tile from a row, you are picking up that entire stack and moving it to the end and pushing everything in cheaper. So the cost is constantly fluctuating.
And each player only has access to buy 3 different types of cards.
Yes.
Because of the guilds and the city and the public buildings.
And the public buildings. So you've got access to basically 4 different types of buildings.
Right.
The 3 different types of guilds. There's 6 guilds in the game. You have access to 3 of them, and that's it. And those are decided at the beginning of the game. So you're purchasing your tiles, you're putting them into the city, but in the meantime, you have to buy the plots in the city as to where you want them. So that costs money. Money is tight in this. It's not hard to get. It's just you lose it as fast as you get it. Meanwhile, there's also you can go down into the silver mines and you can mine. And again, that's more ways to get the ore that you need in order to do other things. So it's definitely a resource management. There are cards in here that determine the market prices for different things.
Yeah, and there's 2 different ones.
And then whenever you sell, one of the actions you can do is to basically sell resources, and you can get money. This is one of the ways of getting money. So it's not hard to get money.
Nope.
You just lose it as fast as you get it. Because whenever you have to build, you have to pay for wood. So there's a lot going on. I really enjoyed this one. I was, again,
when I looked at it at Gen Con, I was kind of like, I really wanted to see it. And it's like, it looked like it was a little more complicated than it needed to be. But once we got through the rules of this and started playing, it was easy.
So this was the big draw to this game, and this is what makes it new. They used a new type of material for all of their pieces. So typically we're used to seeing wood pieces or plastic pieces or even resin pieces or metal or whatever. This is a material called rewood. From my understanding, it's essentially sawdust mixed with glue into a mold. So I think it's more eco-friendly, I guess. I mean, I guess you can buy, how much sawdust do we throw away every year? You know what I mean? I just thought it was pretty neat. And that was the new thing at Gen Con they were advertising was the rewood. I love the feel of these.
The game doesn't come with the bit boxes.
No, yeah, that's true. You guys should know by now, me and my bit boxes.
Bit bins? Is that what the company's called?
Yes, it's bit bins.
Sponsor us.
Right? So I don't know if these are actual bit bins. I found these on Amazon. I just love the size of them because they're perfect for the player pieces that come with cards.
Because you have your own cards too that you're playing.
That's
one thing you haven't covered yet too, have you? Is the
card
play?
Well, I said there was a lot of card play. So you get cards and you pick up more cards.
True.
No, you only ever have these cards.
No, you only get those cards, yeah.
So this is the way your actions go. You get 3 turns per round. And everybody has the identical 6 cards. Each card has 2 actions on it. So it depends on how you want to do it. Now, you have a total of 2 of each of these actions, except for 2 of them. So you can buy a plot of land in the city. You can build in the city. You can claim rights, which is claiming rights to a building, to basically buy the rights to build a building. I'll save that last one. You can go down and mine. You can do income. That's when you're selling off resources to get money.
Well, you're not selling off the resources. You are collecting the resources that are on the machines. It tells you what resources you have.
Based on the buildings you've built and the mines you've built.
Correct.
You have a resource generator.
That's on your board.
Yes, you have a resource generator, and that's what you are getting money
Yeah,
from.
because there's no resource tokens.
No,
So
there
it's
is
all on your
not.
board, and you're moving your
Yep.
piece up, and you're going to gain money
Yeah.
depending on what's in there.
Okay, and those two are all duplicate
And you're
actions.
only using one action on the
Yes,
card.
each card you are deciding which action you're going to use. And then you lose the ability to use the other action. So the first 2 turns of every round, you are doing 2 actions. You're laying 2 cards down and doing whatever the top action is. And then the last round, you're doing, or the last turn, you're doing 1 action. And then the last card never gets used each round. Then you pick up all your cards and you start over again next round. So the other 2 I haven't talked about was the St. Barbara action, which is essentially the church.
You're building it.
Yeah, you're building each piece of the church, which gives you benefits, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but you get benefits from helping to build the church. Or you have the Joker. The Joker allows you to do any action. However, there's a penalty to it. So you've got to be careful with that. But it allows you, if you want to do something, if you already spent both your income cards to do something else and you really need to take income, it might be worth taking the penalty to get those 30 coins so that you're set for next round. So that is how the turns play out. And that is how what you're doing is decided, is based on that card play. I really liked it. I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. Again, because you and Matt were enamored with this. I was like, okay. It looks like just a resource management game to me. Nothing fancy. The coloring never got me. It didn't grab me. I'm glad we picked this up. I really like this one. So.
Yeah, because I didn't know you really, really wanted to play it, and you picked it up the shelf as soon as you seen it. Before I even seen it, you had it in your hands.
I picked it up because we'd had a conversation with Jeff via text on our way back from Maryland, and he had said something about it, and then I saw it. I'm like, well, okay. I mean, I've heard it's good, so why not? So yeah, anyway, I'm glad we got it. Kutna Hora of the City of Silver.
Kutna Hora.
Whatever. Anyway, it's going to stay.
Off to the gifts. So the first one we got from your brother and his wife was Dragonlance Warrior of Krynn. This is all about 5th gen.
5th edition D&D. Now, no secret, we play D&D.
You're not a big fan
I
of
don't
Dungeons
enjoy
and Dragons.
D&D. I don't know if it's just the fantasy theme I don't like. I don't like the complex. I don't like THAC0. You heard it here. I do not like THAC0.
I don't think they have THAC0 anymore.
Good. Because I think that's what turned me off of D&D, was trying to figure out THAC0. It was pointless.
Hit armor class 0.
It was still a math equation.
That easy.
It was still a math equation that was pointless. Anyway. So we started digging into the rule book on this one. We actually watched a couple
videos first.
That made no sense.
And we was like, what?
And maybe it was just because we don't do 5th edition.
And then you looked at the rule book and you said,
I looked at
what?
the rule book. Exactly. So my brother and his wife were over a couple nights ago, and they do play 5th edition. So they were familiar with 5th edition and with Dragonlance as a whole. So we set it out on the table. Joe read through the rule book. We started playing, and it clicked. It actually made more sense once we started going. This is one of those games I think you need to lay it all out on the table as you're reading the book.
And start playing
and
it.
just start playing it. Because once we started playing it, the first round we had to go back to the rule book a few times to find things. But by the second round, it all clicked.
Yeah.
We were good.
And we knew what we were doing.
Yeah, we played the base scenario, Scenario 0, which they give you this little introductory scenario in here. And it actually, I mean, it took us, about an hour to play through this scenario. It wasn't bad. But, so the game is made up of all of these tiles, and they're all double-sided. You've got a whole bunch of them. The scenario book gives you, I want to say, 10 different layouts for scenarios to run through the Dragonlance story.
And this can be played with the role-playing game,
Yes.
Dragonlance.
Yeah, it can be.
You can use it as the scenario battles.
Yeah. On top of these, you've also got these little side shoots that do different things. I'm not going to go into the rules as a whole because it was a little convoluted to try to figure out. But again, once we figured it out, it wasn't bad. But you get so many actions per turn. I think it was 4 actions per turn. You could, You could move, you could fight, you could do different things.
Mm-hmm.
There were more turns I think I had that I didn't end up using my actions because I needed to stay where I was, and there was nothing I could do on that tile.
Mm-hmm.
So I had ended up using 1 or 2 actions each turn.
Mm-hmm.
But the pieces aren't bad. I mean, they're plastic, but the molds are
they're kind of detailed, but they're not as strong as
they're not very strong.
They're pretty flimsy.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. Go back in there. There he goes. Okay, lots of little bitty chits, which, again, it is what it is. But overall, good game. Production quality could have been a little bit better, but especially for as much as they were charging for it. We saw it in a store right after Christmas on our impromptu road trip, and we were a little shocked at how much they were charging for it. But we're going to hold on to it. We want to play through a few more scenarios. All 4 of us really enjoyed it. So we want to play through a few more scenarios, and then it might end up, once we've played through it, it might end up over in the travel collection, because we don't have anything like this over there yet. And it does have the D&D tag on it, so we'll see. But that is box fart. Anyway, that is Dragonlance, Warriors of Krynn. Different than what we expected. Let's just leave it at that. But very different than what we expected originally when we opened the box. One thing I was not impressed with, well, we already said component quality, was the cardboard is super thin.
The cards themselves
the cards
are really
thin. Yeah.
Player boards are very thin.
Yeah.
The quality is just
the
not
quality
there.
could have been better, but they're banking on the D&D name. So anyway, we're gonna hold on to it, but it will eventually make it into the travel collection. All right.
Okay,
All right.
Next one was actually a gift from Mark and Jessica, our former co-hosts. And this is the Fox Experiment.
Yes.
This is the Elizabeth Hargrave recently delivered Kickstarter. Because I think
Yes.
she has a mushroom one out now, too.
Does she? Okay, yeah, this is the one that just, I want to say it delivered in the last couple months.
Yep.
So this was a gift from Mark and Jess for Christmas. We have played through this a few times. We actually got to play this one in prototype form at the Dice Tower Retreat.
Yeah, before
a couple
Kickstarter
years
was
ago.
released.
So, and that was very interesting. We both enjoyed it, but it was late. I enjoyed it, I think, more than you did on the initial play.
Yeah.
But it was late. Okay, so this one is actually based on true events in history. That's the basic idea. And again, I have repackaged this. It came with an insert that would not allow me to comfortably put the 5-6 player expansion into it, and I wanted to, nor would it allow me to put the play mats in here. So I wanted to do that. So I took the insert and pitched it. So the way this one plays is everybody has their player board that gives you your bonuses throughout the game. And it does come with actual player boards. We got the neoprene mats with the game. So this one was based on a true event in history where in Russia back in the 50s, Siberia, Russia area in the 50s, they started doing breeding experiments with foxes, trying to domesticate them like dogs. But the idea was that you were mating two foxes, yes, to try to breed friendliness into them. So the whole game is dry erase. Everybody has their player pieces and their turn order piece, and you are rolling dice all of the dice depict DNA. Each DNA piece does something different. The bushy tails, the spots, the friendliness factor, the ears, the floppy ears. How floppy ears and spots make you friendly, I don't know, but it is what it is. So each round you are drafting the first 3 turns of every round. Everybody is drafting one of 3 things. So you have a series of male and female foxes out, that one more than the player count. And every round you are drafting a male fox, a female fox, and you are drafting your turn order for the next round. And those turn orders also have bonus tokens on them that you get the bonus token. So it's a mix between how early do I want to go the next round versus what bonuses do I want now. So you're taking your two mom and dad foxes and you're grabbing the dice depicted here at the bottom. And you're rolling those dice to create your your pups. Throughout the game, on your board, you can get new bonuses that will allow you to have litters of 2 or 3 pups at once. And each time you are rolling the same set of dice multiple times to get the different division of DNA for each of the pups. So you're marking down what your dice results were, and this depicts not only the bonuses you get now, but the dice that the next player is going to get when they draft this pup out of the pool the next round. Because once you've created your pups, mom and dad retire, they no longer have new litters, but now the pups are going up into the draft pool for the next set of litter, the next set of, next draft set. Why am I trying to say that? Anyway, you know what I mean, I hope. First round, you're rolling maybe 5 or 6 dice if you're lucky. Yeah. By the end of the game, you've got a hand of almost 20 dice, and you are rolling them out. So, I don't know, and there's a lot more to it. This is by no means a full explanation of the game. This is one that we are going to do a bigger breakdown on the podcast.
And another possible review.
And possibly a review on this one too. So you can watch for those. But very interesting game. We've played it a few times now since Christmas and really enjoy this. But yeah, that is the Fox Experiment. Now let's see if I can get all these back in here because it's a trick to do so. But that is the Fox Experiment. Obviously it's going to stay. Thank you, Mark and Jess. We've had a good time with this one. Yeah. All right. It's heavy. Okay.
And the last one was one that she snuck into my stocking at Christmas.
I did.
Because she actually found them.
I did.
But this is when we decided we don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but we wanted to play it just to see how it played.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the crate that we keep it in.
Yes.
This is all we have, but this is Lorcana.
Yes. So
we had 2 beginner decks, or starter decks, I guess you call them.
We purchased 2 starter decks. We had made a pact no Christmas presents because we bought a new soundboard and a new printer for Christmas, and so we were allowed to stuff stockings, and that was it. I stuffed them in a stocking. So this one plays. If you are at all familiar with Magic, it is very, very similar to Magic. The big difference is
killing
you're not trying to kill monsters. You're not directly killing your opponents. Instead, you are trying to gain, lore? Lore. You're just trying to gain lore. The goal is to gain 20 lore by the end of the game, and that wins you the game. You can, I don't want to say take out, but you can remove your opponent's heroes that are going out to adventure. That is really about the only take that in the game. And all you're doing is keeping them from gaining more lore by constantly sending their people out to adventure. But the only way that those characters are even available to be taken out are if they have gone adventuring and they have been exhausted for that round. Exhausted.
We had that on the podcast. Whatever. It's exerted.
If you've been living under a rock and have never heard of this, Disney Lorcana is a collectible trade carding game. Card
trading game.
Thank you. Collectible card trading game that...
I don't claim you anymore.
I gave up claim to you a long time ago, so it's okay. That plays very much like Magic, that is based in the Disney world, the Disney lore. So all of the cards are Disney characters. The neat thing with this one, and one of the things that is different, whereas Magic has that mana pool, that you have to have mana in your hand that you can lay down in order to do anything. This one has an inkwell, but there aren't cards that are specifically ink. Almost every card in your deck can be ink.
As long as they have the circle on the outside of the number.
If it has this little gold circle, that means you can use it as ink instead of using it for its ability or for its character. So at the start of your turn, you can take one card out of your hand and put it in your inkwell. And from now on, you have one permanent ink to use. And all of these other cards are laid down based on ink. You spend ink to lay these cards down. So if I had 2 cards in my inkwell, I could lay Aurora down and play it out in front of me, and I just simply exert my 2 ink. I use them. And then the next round, they untap, unexert, they refresh, and then I can use Aurora. You can't use the card the time you put it down, and with a few minor exceptions. There are a couple cards that will allow you to do it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you can't use it till the next round. Then on the next round, when you decide you're ready to use a card, you don't have to do anything to do so. You just simply say, she's going adventuring, and I gain...
And exert her.
2 lore.
Yep.
Based on this. And there are cards that give you 1. This doesn't give you anything. That doesn't give you anything. Well, neither does that. Some of these can't go adventuring. But you're trying to lay down adventuring cards like Captain Hook here will give me 1. There are ones that will give you 3. And then you just simply, they give you, nope, that's the rules. Where's the player board?
Did we just get rid of them?
No, they're in there.
This is our old book.
Well, maybe I had a player board already. No,
Yep,
right
they're there.
So it comes with these player boards, which are fine. That gives you your deck and your discard pile. I like the fact they give you either left-handed or right-handed options. But
they have your lore.
This is your lore track. Then you have your cards in play and you have your inkwell. So it lays out your board for you, and that's fine. I get this because they wanted it to fit in this. And they have, I guess they have neoprene mats of this now, which only makes sense.
Yes, they do. They had neoprene mats when it came out. So.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So you have your lore track. So when you go adventuring and I send Aurora on an adventure, I just move my lore counter up 2. Here's my, I don't even want to say it's my biggest problem with the game.
It's your gripe.
It's my one gripe with the game. And this isn't even a gripe about the game. It's a gripe with Ravensburger. This is your lore counter, which I'm fine with the design because the whole idea is it wraps around your lore number. Okay, fine. This is my complaint. Look at how thin this is. Look at that. Can you see that? It just disappears. I'm disappointed in Ravensburger over this because this is crap. Yeah. Anyway.
They made apps to do
They
this
did
whole
make an
thing,
app to do it.
and they even tell you, even
But
in the
you
videos
shouldn't
from the
need
company
it.
says there is an app to use if you don't like these. So they spent the money on the app and not on those, okay?
Apparently.
And they had to fit in the box on a punch
You
card.
could have fit a little bit thicker punch card in that box with no problem.
And this is why it's a gripe.
I'm just disappointed with Ravensburger. Seal that. It's not sealed yet. That's my one gripe on the game. I thought it played nicely. It played fine. I can see the appeal for a lot of people with this one. I really can. The Disney appeal is definitely there.
My thought was, how long will it last?
I don't know. Well, only time will tell on that one.
Yep.
We've played it a couple of times. Both times the start player won the game.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, neither of us are big on taking out each other's characters.
And we did that in
We did on the second
before.
one.
We've
did.
taken out each other's stuff, but
So I think we need to play it some more just to do that. But then again, I'm not big on collectible chart. I'm not big on these kind of games.
no, you're not.
So.
But these are pre-made decks. You don't have to make your deck. You don't like the games because they happen to build the deck.
Yes, I do not like having to build a deck and having to put all that much effort into it. I like to be able to build it as part of the game, which I like deck builders. I just don't like pre-made. Yeah, never mind. Anyway, that is Disney Lorcana. We are going to hold on to it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I know we've got other friends who like playing this, so at least we each have a deck and can play multiplayer. But that's it. That is all the ones we picked up over Christmas break.
Yep.
Now we're on to the M's.
Yep.
So we'll get back into the swing of things. And
we're almost done with all the games for the first video.
We are almost done with the first set of M's. Yes. So yeah, let us know what you thought about some of these. I'm curious to see other people's opinions on Lorcana, and hopefully it's not just me that has some gripes over production quality.
Yep. And if you want to hear what she really has to say, it's episode 54 or 55.
54, 55, something like that on the podcast. Yeah, I was. Anyway.
Get the dark side of Katie on that one.
I wasn't that bad, was I? I don't know why I
Trying to
didn't
sell the
edit it.
podcast
Oh,
here.
okay.
Come
I
on.
was gonna say, I didn't think I was that bad. Jeez.
You are not good at sales. Hyping up things, you know. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway,
so,
that's
until then, we'll see you at the next one.